You're not going to stop for peace talks.
Well, look, we had the peace talks. We gave it a chance. We've, clenched our teeth. We did everything we could to enable President Trump to negotiate the desired result, and that would have been preferable for us, and I think for everyone. But we saw in the course of the negotiations, while they were negotiating with the United States, the supreme leader of Iran, Ayatollah Khamenei, tweeted almost every day, "Death to Israel." The talks were merely a facade. And we absolutely, if it could be achieved with the negotiations, fine. But it wasn't being achieved, so we had to act.
So he certainly mischaracterized what the Ayatollah actually said in his ex post. That's
he lies all the time. Netanyahu.
Right. But the point being, we can just have that as a given. But if he knew that he didn't have the capacity to win, and that the Iran does have this capacity to launch missiles, which are just basically on the Israeli skies, then it seems like it would be in his interest to say, all right, we'll give Trump another chance for negotiations. But instead, he seems to be forestalling that. What's going on there?
Fanatics. He has those fanatics, religious fanatics, and whatever their name of. It's not even Likud. There is other type of all kinds of nut jobs on the right, on the Israeli right. They will not allow him. Plus, of course, his personal, survival, if you wish, political and maybe even physical, is staked on this whole thing. So they will continue to do this until Israel completely destroyed. So, and that's who they are. Okay, we had Biden administration just recently. Those morons, those lawyers, those political scientists like Blinken, like Sullivan, like the wife of this Biden dude who was out of it from the get-go. They were literally, because they are so incompetent, they were literally thinking that they can win this, and they were driving the world to the basically verge of the nuclear disaster, because in the end, this is the only option the United States has. Same goes for Israel. So it is very much in the same vein, so to speak. Different scales, of course. United States is a real, genuine, still, for now at least, superpower. Israel is not. That's a small Middle Eastern state which have been able to corrupt and subvert the United States, its own service. And as the result, they lost those, so to speak, reference points. Now, if you ask me, did they believe that Iran can do this? I doubt the military competence of the Israeli armed forces. I really doubt it. Oh, again, don't we remember 2006 litany and all this? Oh yeah, the best tanks in the world, all those, armored forces of Israel. Boy, they didn't like the meeting of the Karnak ATGMs. We know that. So the same goes here. They probably still think that, it's nothing. We have this. And again, do not forget, Israel is a part now it's official party to the war in Ukraine. Pro-Ukrainians, which also repeated by the bunch of the U.S. officers, which of course demonstrates their extremely low professional level. The example being Captain Mitchell, who in the Modern War Journal stated that, oh no, Ukrainians shoot down those Russian hypersonic missiles every day. Patriots are just amazing, When you have people who believe that, and they are not professionals, obviously there are no professionals, and when they start and begin to plan it, I am on the record for years. Basically combined West at this stage, military, they do not know what serious operation planning is. And it's not only just that the models are bad, it's the fact that the garbage as an information which being plugged into those models, and guess what? You get garbage in, garbage out. And the same happens with Israelis. They are make no mistake, Israelis are proud people, and I understand there is a lot to be admired there. But the point is that militarily, it's not their league. They do not even understand that. Their league, it always was to fight local, backward, illiterate, Arab, neighbors who cannot even mount the proper, the resistance with the armies. That's their level. But for some reason, they decided that they are the it thing. They are not. And here we have now modern 21st century missile exchange. In numbers, people count. They are not idiots. There are many smart people. all over the world who sit and count those things. The air defense of NATO is pathetic. It's garbage, basically. It cannot stop thing, you know.
And if the concern, if one of the reasons perhaps, and it could be that Netanyahu is not doing what I just postulated would be in his self-interest to say, okay, I don't have air supremacy like I claim, and they do have near air supremacy with their missile forces to go through my defense field. So I would try to seek a negotiated settlement. They're not doing that. The other alternative he can have, which worries me a lot more, is that he may try to suck the United States in. That was asked by Rand Paul recently, who's voiced a bit of optimism or at least hope.
I see more war and more carnage, and it's not the U.S.'s job to be involved in this war. Iraq was a mess. Afghanistan was a mess. And one of the things I like about President Trump is he has shown restraint. And so I think his instincts are to not be involved in this war, but there will be a lot of pressure from Lindsey Graham and others to get involved in this war. And I hope that his instincts will prevail.
Now, he mentioned Lindsey Graham there, so I want to run right to that one, because if he's hoping that Lindsey Graham doesn't impose upon Trump, here's what he's going against.
I would urge President Trump to go all in to make sure that when this operation is over, there's nothing left standing in Iran regarding their nuclear program. If that means providing bombs, provide bombs. If that means
busting bombs,
whatever bombs. If it means flying with Israel, fly with Israel. The worst possible outcome for the world is to take the Iranian nuclear program on and leave it standing.
What do you make of that?
Well, he is a war criminal and he's an imbecile. He won't understand the real thing about modern war. He's a jog. You know, he sat somewhere in the rear during the Gulf War. So, you know what? He's covered and he's war criminal again. Fine people of South Carolina, it's up to you. You continue to elect this jerk who should be behind bars for supporting terrorism. But what can I say? This is at least some Democrats now started voicing the concern that, you know, United States cannot believe. Well, it's kind of natural that Democrats would do this, but we have to understand that GOP is utterly owned by a PAC crowd and Christian Zionists. So they will be pushing for it, of course, at least most of them. But at least there are some signals from Congress now, including by Thomas Massey. But again, Thomas Massey is not a PAC guy. He is an upstanding guy, whether you like him or not. He's got the gonads, okay? And but there are signs from Congress, people worrying about it. But Trump, what can I say? He is easily swayed. He is narcissistic. It's all about how he views himself. But the problem is, United States already is in war. United States tankers, air refueling capabilities already there, by the way, including even the Europeans are refueling Israeli planes. But the only thing United States can do is, how to say it, start something which will be confirmed, documented. And then there are so many bases, US bases in the region. And Iran has the capability and they have a record. If it comes down to it, they will hit it. And this time it will be without warning, as it was last time after, well, Mr. Trump, roughly speaking, assassinated General Soleimani, who was on the actually diplomatic mission. So there is a lot of, how to say it, let's put it this way. United States doesn't have a good outcome for this other than stay the hell away from it, you know. So if Trump chooses that, doing this, well, Rand Paul certainly knows better than me, and I'm in a different Washington across the whole continent. So I'm happy about it.
Yeah, I think, yeah, I'm thinking about moving from this Washington to your Washington.
Oh, gosh, best place. Not politically, but nature. Oh, God.
It is. Yeah, I have visited there. It is lovely. So Rand Paul's talking about what he thinks is Trump's instincts. And I think that he's right and identifies his instincts. But man, is he coming under a lot of pressure from others within his party, most notably former General Jack Keane.
Oh, good Lord.
Here's what's really going on in the Ayatollah's mind, I think. He never came to the negotiating table to really give up his nuclear capability voluntarily. Why? Because he always believed that he can recover and rebuild it after an Israeli airstrike. And he's counting on the fact that Fordow will survive this. It is in the United States' core national interest to help Israel destroy completely this nuclear enterprise. Okay. But the guarantee is for the United States to use its penetration bombing to take that site out. And I believe once that's done, we start to see the end of this thing. Okay. We've got to finish what we started here. We can't look like we haven't come to the assistance of the Israelis when they needed it the most here to finish this operation.
You know, truly, he sounds like he is the chief military spokesman for Benjamin Netanyahu.
He is, and yeah,
crazy.
He is, and he is disgraced to military professional. He will be locked out of the morning session with the staff of some brigade level people because they will look at him as the amateur that he is. Most American generals, most American top brass are incompetent people. And when you look at Jack Keane, he's fanatic. He doesn't understand the first thing about 21st century. He has to get the hell out of there and retire into some nursing home where he belongs. But the problem is they are incompetent. The only thing this guy understands is some, you know what, Hollywood BS and carefully constructed, you know what, albeit, I have to admit, you can see by him that he's desperate. He's humiliated, as he should be, because he is the disgrace to the basically rank of real military professionals, which, for example, United States Army still have some, you know, but the guy is, he's a clown. And he, as I already stated, he will not be able to hold conversation on the level of the staff of the, for example, motor rifle brigade. He won't understand the technology. He won't understand the even basic tactical, let alone operational tactical planning. And yet here he is. He talks about something which he doesn't even understand what it is to penetrate something which, as Alistair Crook stated, some of their facilities are actually at the depth of several hundred meters.
Yeah.
I mean, you cannot explain to the guy, he never studied physics, obviously, but what can I say?
But see, here's the problem with that is, though, that he looks the part. He's on Fox News every day. He's a paid correspondent. And who watches Fox News but Donald Trump? Now,
yeah, Donald Trump, absolutely.
Right. So now then Trump himself has no independent means to know whether what Keane is saying is nonsense. It wouldn't pass at a company command headquarters, much less a brigade or a division, or whether or not he's a four-star general. So he's listening to him. Now we see on the ground there's been some actions because as many reports are now reporting, there are a large number of fuel tankers and refuelers that are heading to Europe right now. The number I think is up to 30 that have gone. And just the claim was, oh, well, these guys are going over there for a NATO exercise, which is no big deal, except that the largest NATO exercise they've had in a long time was 2018 when 8 of these things were used. And now then there are 30 of them. And of course, that's coming on top of the recent, over the last month or so, of aircraft carriers now apparently are steaming into the area. You've had some destroyers been added lately. You got B-2s at Diego Garcia. You got A-10s apparently there as well. That's a lot of aerial combat power and naval power that are steaming into the area right now. And that refuelers is only for large scale air operations. So it seems to me that we are in real danger that this war could indeed escalate.
It could, absolutely. Nobody has to deny it. But do not forget also that the only thing they operate in Pentagon with are those templates. They do not operate properly, you know, in terms of, the only thing they know is, okay, let's move their, aircraft carrier, let's move whatever the aerial assets. But the problem is, that's the whole point. The only thing they know how to fight the war is by bombing. That's their, that has been the template for 80 years. Well, there are a number of people in the U.S. Air Force. They believe that the United States won the World War II and defeated Hitler, and did it primarily because it bombed him. So with that type of expertise, quote unquote, what do you expect? They will be bringing, on this force. What has to be understood, and it's correctly that this image with the ranges of the Iranian missiles came up. there is not a single base United States can actually place its air assets anywhere there in the region and not being basically, well, attacked and struck. And that will mean serious casualties and loss of the equipment on the ground. Forget about what's going to be happening in the air. So, but it's the only thing United States has at its means. That's always was the only thing it had. Okay, here we have our air power, grossly exaggerated, but still the air power. We have numbers. Let's move in. Let's get this, Nimitz carrier, carrier battle group there. Let's launch those alpha strikes. The problem is, again, as already stated, evidently the concept of the long-range fires is not strong in the operation planning in Pentagon and the Joint Chiefs of Staff, because they do not understand, and it was demonstrated to them, any kind of the Air Force base in the region, it will be struck. It will go under the strikes by Iranian forces. And if anybody wonders what is this all about, I believe people corrected me at some, Iran is the size of 66 Israels. It is many sizes of Yugoslavia, and it's much larger than Iraq. And it is the terrain which is, nightmarish. So if they want to find that, obviously good luck. But even if there are some, if you look attentively at the northern part of Iran, which is Mazandaran, and northern Azerbaijan, these are all mountains and hilly and very, very many forests. It's not like it's desert or just mountains. It is very, very large. And it's a very, very large, actually, portion of Iran, not close to Caspian Sea. How many of those things there? And if they think that it's easily detectable, well, I have a bridge to sell them. So it may come down to basically United States getting itself involved already with depleted resources as they have. And God forbid, and God forbids Iranians sink one or two destroyers, which they can. And then we have, what do we have? United States going nuclear? Probably, because the United States cannot take it, and that's the problem.
Right. Well, let's certainly hope it doesn't get into that area. Yeah. But anytime you start going down that path, all kinds of bad things are possible. In the last amount of time we have here, let me ask you about one of the other theories of what Israel is trying to do, and that's to have all these attacks that can actually foment the internal collapse of the Iranian regime, that they can damage it enough. And they've for sure been having some significant attrition with assassinations of high-level generals, and a lot of them, that they can weaken enough of the fabric that a lot of the opposition will rise up. What level of credibility do you give to those threats?
Well, they are ignorant. It's the same level of credibility of which I've been talking about the so-called Russia experts in the United States, who were saying that Putin the regime is about to collapse. People who write those things, they're mostly political scientists. That means people without any education. They still believe all this garbage, which is, remember, the Iraq will, greet United States with flowers and all that. So we know how it all ended up. And so, yeah, it's delusion. And when you have to understand, liberal pro-Western intelligentsia, urban intelligentsia in Tehran, in Isfahan, and elsewhere, okay? All those professors, artsy types who were the main kind of pushers for the negotiating settlements and all that things, believing in the goodwill from the West, they are now in a bind. Can you imagine now somebody during the June 1941 in Soviet Union coming up and saying, no, it's fine, they invaded us, but let's develop good bilateral relations with the Third Reich. It's exactly the same. In fact, is as usually the case, instead of the weakening regime, what they achieved consolidation of the society, and now even Iranian liberals demand, let's get the bomb. So if they wanted it, they achieved it. And actually, already from in the morning, they already wanted to actually quit their non-proliferation on the nuclear weapons, Iranians. And so what can I say? Morons achieved absolutely opposite. It's a blowback But then again, as I already stated, the incompetence of those elites, and Israel is the part of the Western elites, is astonishing. Those people are downright cretins. Whenever they plan, apart from being obviously militarily incompetent. And as a result, we have the consolidation of the Iranian society. And but again, same thing, like Putin's regime is about to collapse since 2014. Yeah, we can see now how Putin's regime collapsed.
Yeah. Look at a different consideration, a concern. We don't know for sure how much damage has been done to the Iranian nuclear facility. Some has, I think, Fordo and
evidently they hit something.
Has been hit, but some of the others haven't been hit. I think Bashir has also not been hit. So what the question is, what is the risk that Iran now runs to the bomb and says, okay, that's it. While we still have these facilities, we're going to try and finish one. Do they have that capacity?
I don't know exactly if they really do. I'm pretty sure they can get the bomb if they really want to. And evidently their mood in Iranian society as a whole changed, and it's like, no negotiations, let's get the bomb, And so there's a meme now circulating with Kim Jong-un and his daughter, walking against the background of the huge nuclear missile, say, you see, but your father, did it, in a proper time. So, I mean, they may go for it. I don't know, obviously, for sure, but they may go. But there was a very interesting thing today. Mr. Ryabkov, first deputy of the foreign minister of Russia, he stated that all Israel's calculations were for naught. They were trying to overturn the board and to put new figures, anew. They failed. And he told that they will fail completely. So when Mr. Ryabkov says that, okay, who am I to contradict him?
So last question here, how do you see this ended? Where is it going to go?
The best scenario, so to speak, obviously we know history never goes by the best scenarios, it goes by the worst case scenarios. So it's they will pummel each other until Israel completely runs out of any kind of resources, and then it's kind of fizzles out. But it's up to Israelis to decide. They elected this government. This is a genocidal maniacs, and so but Israel already lost so much credibility that at this stage it's difficult to predict anything, and we need to wait for at least a week before we can say with any kind of degree of probability what can come out of this. I hope, though, as Rand Paul stated, that Trump instincts, I don't think he even understands the information which, even if it was correct, would be conveyed to him that he should stay away. And what can I say? But if he goes for what we already discussed, can happen, and the United States gets involved directly, it will be the end of the Trump presidency completely. I mean, he already is on the verge of losing it completely, but if he goes, he will lose completely, and the United States will be involved completely in the political mayhem. And I don't want to see that for sure.
No.
And I'm talking about mayhem, and I'm talking about violence on the streets and things of this nature. Because the guy, as I already stated, he promised peace. You see yourself what happened. Okay, so the United States is about to enter the war, which it cannot win, and it will. Well, whatever is left of the credibility, there is no credibility, and Israel lost everything. Everything they are laughed at technologically by the whole world, and they showed their weakness, which in the region, in the Middle East, if you have shown your weakness, you're done.
Yeah, that's all a lot of places in the world, and but just let's just hope that somehow sanity prevails, that Trump doesn't give in to the pressure, and that we can put some pressure on these guys to get this war over with. But the best of hopes hasn't worked out too well lately. We'll see how it works out here. But thank you so much for coming on today, Andrei. We, as always, we're very much appreciative. And as we also always remind you, go to Smoothie X12. on YouTube, and you can get more of Andrei and some of his assessments and analysis of both this and the Russia-Ukraine war. Thanks ever so much for coming on today.
My pleasure. Anytime.
And thank you guys too. We certainly appreciate you. And be sure to like and subscribe if you haven't. And we will look forward to seeing you tomorrow on the Daniel Davis Deep Dive.